After a few minutes, everyone recovered from the bloody event. Matthew thankfully patted Zheng's shoulder. This mercenary leader that was supposed to die in the corridor now lived. This would interfere with the original plot considerably. Of course he may die to zombies or hunters later, no one could predict it. Matthew looked at everyone, then said,
"We will continue."
Continue?
Spence shouted.
Continue what? You kidding me? There's no way I'm going down there.
Matthew turned to Kaplan. His face was full of sweat.
Yes. I turned off all her defenses. All.
Matthew repeated.
All. You positive?
Without waiting for Kaplan to respond, Matthew picked up the device and walked through the corridor. Kaplan was still typing. This time the door didn't close. Alice followed like in the original plot. After they went through, the door to the Red Queen closed again. Zheng's group looked at each other. They knew they were going to face the theme of Resident Evil. Zombies. Lan said to Zheng and Oi in a low voice.
Don't get too far away from G. Don't get bit by zombies. In the movie, once you get infected you will become a zombie in 30 minutes. I did a rough calculation, the vaccine only works within 10 minutes of getting bit. Remember to stay close to G. Since he lived through 3 movies, he will probably survive this one.
They nodded. Then Lan suddenly smiled.
Right, and do you feel disgusted from the murders?
Zhao Yi replied first.
I felt disgusted when I just arrived here. And I wasn't accustomed to this place. But after vomiting before, I feel like I have loosened up. If I do it with my eyes closed, I think I can kill someone.
Zheng thought for a bit. He too felt much better after vomiting, especially since he experienced life and death. He got rid of the surreal sensation he had and slowly integrated into this movie. As long as he could survive, killing monsters, humans, he's willing to do anything. Lan continued.
Okay, then find a chance to pick up their guns. If you see a zombie got separated from the pack, then kill it. These are reward points. Remember, head, that's their weak point.
Then the room dimmed down. They knew Matthew had turned off the central computer. At the same time, the defense system that isolated zombies and hunters stopped working. After what happened to Zheng, they didn't dare to change the plot this time and just waited as the central computer was shut down. Then they will have to go face to face with death. In the dark, Zheng could feel Zhao Yi shivering non-stop. Even Lan was shivering. He asked.
Scared?
Zhao Yi answered.
Yeah, very scared.
Though Lan said.
Too excited.
Zheng suddenly felt Lan was terrifying. He didn't ask any more questions and turned to the only light source. Silently waiting for what's going to happen next. After a minute, the room lit up again. Zheng knew everything was starting. Matthew and Alice came back from the central computer room. Matthew looked exhausted. He took a look at the corpses in the corridor.
We will bring the Red Queen's main circuit back to the corporation first. Kaplan, how's the hive?
Kaplan turned to his computer.
Good, all defenses are down. We can leave the hive in a straight line.
Matthew nodded.
Okay, then now.
Before he finished, gunshots came from dining hall B. Matthew looked at Kaplan, then they ran out of the room. Alice and the other cast followed. Then Zheng's group followed. When Zheng reached dining hall B, he took notice of those cases containing hunters. The lights on the cases had turned from green to red. Just thinking about how many of them were in this room sent goosebumps up his spine. This wasn't something a human could rival. Matthew asked.
What's wrong? I heard gunshots.
Rain lost a piece between her thumb and index finger. It was bloody and horrifying.
Sir, we found a survivor. But he's gone mad. He bit me.
Matthew frowned.
So you open fire.
Rain shouted in reply.
But sir, he's gone mad.
He's gone.
Jai suddenly said. He looked at the pool of blood on the ground and said.
He was here just then, but he's now gone.
Matthew walked over to the pool of blood. The blood was already half solidified. This definitely wasn't like fresh blood. He felt a bad premonition. Matthew stood up and shouted.
We're leaving immediately.
Rain felt strange and asked.
Sir, aren't our orders to wait here for backup after we get the Red Queen's main circuit?
Matthew shook his head. There's no more backup. Prepare to leave.
Lan walked over to Jai and asked.
You just reminded them. Aren't you afraid of changing the plot?
Jai laughed.
You guys are the fearless ones. You changed the plot as a newbie and survived. Look at your watch. Matthew's name is not there anymore.
Lan and Zheng looked at the watch. It was blank on the place where Matthew's name used to be. Jai sneered at them.
We're free to move from now on. Remember, you can do anything as long as it means surviving.
He thought for a moment and added.
If I was in your position with the lack of stamina, reaction speed, and weapons, I would follow the group back to the Red Queen's room. At least you will be safe for a little longer.
Lan smiled.
You're actually quite a nice person. You're just not good at expressing yourself.
Jai laughed.
Nice. Don't joke around. I just didn't want you to hinder me earning points. Don't be mistaken, there are no good people in this world. As long as I can survive, I don't mind using you three as meat shields.
The tone of his words sent a chill down their spines. At the same time, a metallic sound came from afar. Rain and JD moved over cautiously. After a few steps, a man wearing a white robe came out from the corner. A few people lumbered and stumbled behind him. JD pointed at them.
Stop there. Otherwise I will open fire.
These people obviously wouldn't stop there. They were already infected with the T-virus. Soon after, numerous people lumbered out from all sides of the room. Some were in uniforms and some in robes. Some of them had started rotting, and there were some with totally deformed legs. Zheng even saw one with only half its head left.
Stop. I'm going to shoot.
Bang. Matthew was the first to shoot at these zombies. A zombie holding a hammer was knocked down. But he quickly got back up. After getting shot over 10 times, it didn't even bleed much. Bang. Jai shot with his desert eagle. It blew up the zombie's head like a watermelon.
You guys go find an exit. Leave this to me.
Matthew hesitated for a while and shouted.
Okay, everyone remain in formation. JD, go find an exit. Ray, keep an eye on the prisoner. Everyone else, follow me.
Zheng looked back at Jai. He waited for the zombies to approach, then shot at them all at once. The few zombies closest to him all got shot in the head. His accuracy and speed were way higher than a normal person. Zheng felt he could follow Jai's movements. He had read some books on Ma. There were two types of visual acuity. Distant visual acuity measured how far you could see, and dynamic visual acuity defined your eye's ability to discern fine detail in moving objects. It seemed like dynamic visual acuity was related to reaction speed. He could see Jai's movements clearly, which meant the difference between their reaction speeds wasn't that big. And he was disgusted at first by the blown-up zombies. But he was feeling quite natural now. This was probably related to his mental capacity.
It seems like those rewards really enhanced my abilities.
Zheng was overjoyed. He stayed calm and followed Matthew. Then Matthew turned around and gave him a gun and 2 magazines.
I can take care of you guys. There's 15 rounds of ammo in each magazine. Follow what G did and go for their heads.
Zheng understood it more than anyone. Even though he never used a gun before, he was shooting very fast thanks to his enhanced reaction speed. He was smart enough to only aim for zombies within 10 meters. 10 meters was his effective shooting distance. The other people didn't know about this and just saw him getting headshots without aiming. Matthew nodded and left his back to Jai and Zheng. Zhao Yi saw it and was full of excitement.
Zheng, that was amazing. You're probably used to shooting. How many points was that?
Matthew turned around to him.
Points.
Zhao Yi's face darkened. Zheng knew he'd probably heard a warning that deducted his points. Poor dude was in the negatives before he earned 1 point. Matthew looked at the three of them, then turned back to their zombies. Lan patted her chest and muttered,
That was dangerous. I thought the plot was going to change again.
Lan actually had a nice body and her face was quite pretty. Zheng and Zhao was staring at her when she patted her chest. She realized it and said,
Is G going to be alright? We can't see him anymore.
Zheng knew she was trying to digress, so he answered casually,
He's probably alright. He's stronger than us and he has that Desert Eagle with unlimited ammo. Shit. If I survive this I will get one for myself.
Lan touched her forehead. This seemed to be a habit of hers. She had a larger forehead than the average person.
100 points can enhance someone's power by 10. After I survive I have to ask G about the details on exchanges. But we don't have time to talk about this. You should just concentrate on protecting us.
She smiled at Zheng.